one 500 million pound nuclear-powered submarine. Stealthy, silent, and deadly.
Stand by to fire. Fire!
5 elite submariners hungry for command. And one no-nonsense examiner known as Teacher.
Come on!
You need to get this sussed now. And if you think that's good enough, I will start taking charge.
This is the world's toughest command course.
Right, raise the attack.
I am not convinced that you guys have actually grasped that.
They call it the Perisher.
Attack, ship control, contact, contingency charge made.
If they succeed, these young officers will go on to command one of the world's most lethal military machines. But if they fail, their underwater careers will be over.
You haven't seen nothing yet, trust me.
The Perisher course students have completed 3 of their 4-week intensive sea trials.
We've gone the wrong way.
But they still need to prove to this man, Teacher Jim Perks, they're ready to command a nuclear submarine.
It's not an easy course to pass. I'm the guy that says at the end of the day whether they've passed or failed.
Over the past 3 weeks, he's thrown everything at them. Charging frigates to dodge. Anti-submarine helicopters to evade.
That was going well, until the point you decided to wave all the masts around.
Shallow waters to navigate. And other submarines to outwit.
Fire! Fire! You've just successfully engaged HMS Turbulent. Well done.
They started as 5, but after 2 weeks at sea, Gareth Ragg, known as Oily, decided to quit.
From seeing it now on the other side, I've made the decision that it's not for me.
Laid-back David Filtness, filthy to his mates, has sometimes failed to impress.
You need to evade, you need to evade.
6 seconds.
Jeff Fillmore is hungry for command, but his intense focus can sometimes take his eye off the big picture.
Why are you still here? He's taken a little longer than I would have hoped.
American Dan Reese is cool and methodical, but he's made serious mistakes adapting to British naval methods.
Reverse the plane. Reverse plane.
English Dan Martin has been the most self-assured, but his handling of the crew has come in for criticism.
You haven't generated any enthusiasm whatsoever in this watch. That is your job.
Heading east to North Landmark.
For their final missions, the 4 remaining students must survey and attack surface targets. The focus is on their command of risk versus gain.
Wait till he faints, or are you going to go out trailing him?
Well, if you can't go out training him,
They all have plenty to prove before Jim decides which of them has what it takes to become a submarine commander.
Teacher's done all his teaching. You know, you get on with it, and he doesn't get out his yellow book at this stage. He doesn't write in it. He doesn't give you any feedback. It's kind of make or break now.
The multinational exercise the students on board HMS Triumph have been taking part in is entering its most intense phase.
We have just entered the stage that is now war. We've got 2 opposing task groups, one to the north, one to the south of our current position. And actually we become the purple submarine, so we're allowed to attack either task group as we see fit.
Joint Warrior is a simulated war between 2 fictional countries. It involves 5,000 personnel, numerous ships, aircraft, and other submarines. The students' mission today is to sink as many of those ships as possible.
We are expecting the multinational force to start making their approach south today and the Dragonian force to head north to meet them.
Yeah, the tricky bit is going to be getting up ahead of the Dragonian units, so we're there so that we can attack both task groups.
Between now and noon, it's going to be very fast-paced, as the AC is indicating. By 1300, we should see the bulk of the surface units past us, and if any of them do get past us, we should be ashamed. Good job.
Well, still here, 3 days to go. Actually, it's been pretty enjoyable. Joint Warrior has been, from what we've been able to sort of join in with it, it's been quite good fun so far. And certainly now we've got to the bit where we can start attacking people, it's pretty good.
There's a task group coming in from the south of enemy units, and they have to transit right through the area that we're patrolling right now in order to get up to engage the multinational force. So we're in a perfect position to detect, track, and then sink any surface ships that come through the area.
This is an aggressive free-for-all, in which the odds should be in the submarine's favor.
Put a gulp for one gulping interval, 5 minutes.
Throughout their history, submarines have proved very effective at landing decisive blows against unsuspecting enemies on the surface. During the Falklands War of 1982, HMS Conqueror closed to within 1,400 yards of Argentina's General Belgrano and fired 3 torpedoes. 320 lives were lost as the cruiser was destroyed. It was a crucial turning point in the war, as the Argentine Navy retreated to port for the rest of the conflict. On Triumph, American Dan is first in the captain's chair for the Joint Warrior exercise.
I'll try to get this to this.
He's identified a group of ships to target, made up of a frigate, a destroyer, a replenishment tanker, and the group's flagship, the Danish anti-submarine warship Absalon. She's armed to the teeth with powerful sonar and weaponry.
Absalon is the anti-submarine warfare commander, meaning we are the ship which are going to coordinate all actions and all resources in the hunt for the enemy submarines. We expect that in a short time we will engage the enemy all out.
Range is 12,000 yards.
Keeping a watchful eye on the Absalon, American Dan decides to target the weakest but highest value opponent in the group, the replenishment tanker.
2 warships and an auxiliary boat, all in close proximity to each other. So anytime an oiler comes alongside warships like this, we're curious if it's going to be a replenishment at sea.
Replenishments at sea enable operational ships to refuel and restock with food and ammunition without having to head back into port. These complex operations are vital to the smooth wartime sustenance of a surface fleet. But they also make an excellent target.
And once they come alongside and they make up to each other and they're constrained, that's when we'll attack them. Because they are so restricted, we'll launch the torpedoes, and you can usually damage one, if not both of them at the same time.
But wherever there's the potential gain of a strike against an enemy, there's a risk of being detected. The replenishment at sea underway in the Sea of Hebrides is a perfect target for a submarine commander.
It's 12,000 yards. Range is 12,000.
But at this late stage of the course, Teacher Jim is looking for a lot more than strategic and technical abilities from his students.
They have to be the captain. They have to look like the captain. You know, a guy from back half should be able to walk into the control room and say, yeah, that's the captain. I know who's in command. I know who's in control of the situation. And that is exactly what I'm looking for over the 4 weeks at sea.
Commanded decisively, submarines are a formidable threat to surface vessels. Because submarines are so hard to detect, even high-tech ships like the Absalon may have very little idea of when or if they're being targeted.
It is not very comfortable, I can tell you. A submarine is a tough enemy, so it is not very comfortable.
In wartime, this uncertainty alone can be a highly effective weapon against an enemy.
Absalon is a big target for the submarine because it's the flagship of the whole operation. And we have the staff on board and we have a lot of missiles on board. And if Absalon goes down, it will be a big hurt for the whole operation.
The Absalon needs all the help she can muster to avoid detection from submarines. Her state-of-the-art design incorporates noise suppression technology to make it hard for sonar to pick her up. Her top speed of 28 knots comes in handy too.
We can go high speed, we can maneuver our ship so that it will be more difficult for her to hit us.
On Triumph, Dan has moved in aggressively for the kill. But he's not moved fast enough to carry out the attack himself. His shift is over, and he's required to hand over responsibility to Filthy to make the next move.
Aim then is to watch these contacts continue to close, set them up and shoot them.
But Filthy's not happy about the position he's inherited. While Triumph is in a great position to attack, he's concerned by the risk of counter-detection by the ships above.
Stand by, spear for attack. Take track.
Absalon can call upon an infrared camera system which can spot a submarine periscope up to 10 nautical miles away, day or night. And she has a hull-mounted sonar which can listen out for submarines underwater for miles around.
4-4, classified master, 1-0 is target.
Filthy has decided to go ahead with the attack.
Speed, 10 knots, distance
His weapons team prepares. But before he can fire a shot, the battle group turns directly towards him, apparently realizing his worst fears of counter-detection.
Right, all positions duty captain. We found ourselves in a position here where a group has zigged back round to the south and we're now too close to them. It's off swat.
Putting the safety of the submarine first, he's decided to back off.
Okay, all positions duty captain. As I say, we're not in a great position here. My priority now is avoiding counter-detection by aiming to the south from this group.
But up above, the battle group led by Absalon has not detected Triumph.
It's like looking for a needle in the haystack. And ASW, that can be, we call it anti-submarine warfare, or when you're sitting here for 5 hours, you call it awfully slow warfare.
HMS Triumph is concealed from the Absalon by a thermocline layer. This is created by sharp changes in salinity and water temperature. Absalon's active sonar is being reflected from the top of the layer, so she can't detect the submarine.
The submarine could be hiding in about 40 meters, and we wouldn't notice him at all. But when he comes to 30 meters, we will see him on the screen. So he can pop out of nowhere, and that's why I'm just continually checking all the echoes I get here.
So for now, Triumph is too deep to be detected.
Relations 5-0.
Filthy is running away from a non-existent threat.
Do not intend to conduct an attack with them closing at their current SOA.
How do they know where you are?
They're closing me all the time, sir. So the risk of counter-detection is increasing all the time.
And therefore you're not going to shoot them?
23 now in the zig to port.
You might have missed your opportunity.
Jim thinks Filthy's made a poor judgment of risk versus gain. And like American Dan before him, failed to take the opportunity to make a decisive attack. Both their chances of passing the course have just taken a step back. The Joint Warrior exercise and penultimate phase of the Perisher course is now over. This course has always had a high failure rate. So history suggests that at least one of the remaining 4 students will not make it through.
It's mixed emotions at the moment. We're sort of 3.5 weeks in. I can't wait for it to be over, you know, and hopefully I'll have passed. So, yeah, it's a little bit mixed at the moment, and I say the clue's definitely in the name. It's just pretty continuous.
each of the students, I think, we're honing our own skills, and we're making the fine adjustments to our performance so that we are able to come into our own and really become confident of what our individual style is as an XO or a captain.
I'm by no means top of the course. I wouldn't even begin to, claim to be anywhere near the top of the course. As long as I keep jumping over the bar, that's all I'm really interested in.
Which I think, from a personal point of view, has gone all right. Some of it's even been good fun, but all of it's been tiring. I was lucky because I didn't have any runs last night, so actually I've had more sleep than some of the other guys.
437 speed 4.
Working under intense scrutiny around the clock, with little distinction between day and night for nearly 4 weeks, fatigue is now becoming a major issue for all of the students. But that's submarine life. Submariners normally work 6 hours on and 6 hours off. When off duty, the 130 crew can sleep in one of just 99 bunks squeezed into the forward spaces of the submarine.
Where we are here is the forward bunk space, forward 29 bulkhead. What you've got to remember about this compartment is it's not just 50 people living up here. Actually, a large majority of the ship's company hot bunk. And that's a situation where while one man's in the bunk, the other man's up on watch, and they literally just swap duvets around so that the other person can jump straight in the same bed. It's a busy place to live. There's not much place to stow any of your gear, and it's one of the things that marks a submariner out from the rest of the fleet.
I found over the course of the last week how much sleep I really do need. Surprisingly, I thought it was much more per night than what I've been getting. Turns out they're able to function decently well with only a few hours of sleep a night.
Past experience of submarine life to me has shown that I don't function very well if I'm absolutely knackered. And even just a 20-minute cat nap, power nap to recharge the batteries pays dividends.
With just 24 hours of the course to go, the students have got to stay in command of all their senses, the submarine and the crew, for a little bit longer.
It's down to you guys now. Okay? If I say something from now on, it'll be a bad thing. All right? That is the last brief. Good luck for the weekend. You know you can all do it. Prove to me that you can.
But on the final day, it's not just Jim the students need to impress. Some of the most senior officers in the Navy are coming on board to pass final judgment on them too.
Well, I'll see some tired faces, I'm sure, and a team that's worked very hard. But it's exactly that pressure that we're looking to see whether they've got what it takes or not.
Always a possibility there's a slip-up on the last day. Pretty unfortunate to get all the way through the course and blow it on the last day, but yeah, it is possible.
The students have returned to shallow inshore waters around the Isle of Arran for some extremely tough final missions. Operating in the shallows, submarines can use underwater features to conceal themselves. These aid reconnaissance and attacks against surface targets. But it's a tactical advantage that comes with the risk of running aground or being detected by an enemy above.
You can find yourself trapped between the frigates and the land. If you're operating, the submarine's, 80 to 90 metres long, and you're operating in 45 metres of water, there is very little room for error.
This is the toughest part of the course and the one most likely to claim a victim.
Do setups on all the time.
Jeff is first up as captain. Always intense, he's already stressed out and tired.
It's the worst night's sleep I've had since being on board. Only managed, I woke up about 2:30 with a splitting headache, so I had to take some pills and try and shake it, so I think it's mostly gone now.
Today, Jeff must prove he's overcome his biggest problem, being too hands-on and narrow-focused. His right-hand men are American Dan as attack coordinator and watch leader Dennis Fox.
Command, go for Peri-Recce Platter.
Jeff's mission is to take reconnaissance photos, or perifots, of the Platter lighthouse just off the Isle of Arran.
to those photographs now with an opportunity basis, okay, then we'll evade up to the north along this sort of shelf, and if we're still happy with Master 01, we will try and put the mast up at 0900 at the time and see if we can gain something on that. But in the meantime, take it now, get us good FOTS, okay, and then continue to evade up to the north east.
Research!
It's not long before the lighthouse comes into view.
No white wall all around Pladda. There's no activity, certainly no sentries, no indication of military activity. On, camera in, ready to record. Start moving right to left.
But of course, it's not going to be that easy. They've now spotted a Type 23 frigate searching for them.
So one contact in sight, possibly Master 01 at green 85.
The frigate hasn't spotted them yet. So once again, it's risk versus gain. Jeff must decide whether to continue taking his photos or to evade the threat.
Duty Navigator, Duty Captain. That was the take. Okay?
Rear Admiral Mark Anderson is keen to see how Jeff has reached his decision.
It's a case of safety versus achieving the aim. As soon as I'm going to hog those contours and follow the contours up the coast so I can stick as close as I can. At the moment, I don't have that option.
The ship that's hunting Triumph is HMS Iron Duke, one of Britain's 13 Type 23 frigates.
We are proceeding to the northwest to investigate the area around Pladda Light and expect interaction with Submarine Alpha within the next 60 minutes. Subsurface threat warning yellow, temporal charge.
She can employ powerful hull-mounted and towed sonar arrays to hunt down submarines. Her speed, agility, and near-silent engines enable her to creep up and surprise underwater adversaries. On Triumph, Jeff is concerned about the weather. It's unusually calm and clear.
Come round, I'm happy to come round to about 100. Aye, sir.
In addition to all its technology, the crew of the Iron Duke has ideal conditions to locate the submarine by using their eyes and surface cameras to spot Triumph's periscope.
But at the moment, we've got good opportunities for what we call non-acoustic detection, which is visually sighting it or detecting their radars. But we have somewhat of an advantage because we know roughly what the submarine is trying to do.
Jeff is adopting the textbook response to the threat by hiding the submarine using features on the sea floor. So the frigate's sonar operators can't be sure the Triumph is there.
The intention now is to avoid counter-detection from the 23 and then follow the coast, the contours up. Accepting that the 23 will transmit and look up into shallow water, chance of counter-detection on minimum. Carry on, Junior Navigator.
Jim and the VIPs are not only impressed with Jeff's decisions, but his calm authority.
Right, gents, just keep the focus going, understood?
He seems to be coming good just in time. But there's no room for complacency, as Teacher Jim has plenty more tricks up his sleeve. He's just about to introduce an even more formidable foe. This is the deadly Merlin helicopter. Submarine hunter and destroyer. It's every parachute student's worst nightmare. Helicopters like the Merlin are designed to work closely with Type 23 frigates to speed up the task of finding a submarine.
We're arriving on scene in the exercise area. I've got my radar turned off at the moment in the hope that the submarine won't know we're coming until we're too late. But just have a look round, see if he's got his periscope up.
While they have powerful sonar and radar, Martin and his team are also taking advantage of the clear conditions to try and get a visual fix on the Triumph. Down below, there's a shift change. English Dan is about to begin his make-or-break final mission as duty captain.
Last go as duty captain, hopefully not last go as captain.
His mission is to lay simulated reconnaissance sensors across the mouth of Lamlush Harbour, just as German U-boats laid mines outside harbours in World War II. These sensors allow submarines to monitor shipping movements from a safe distance. But due to the fine weather, it looks like the Merlin may have spotted them.
We've seen a possible periscope at the right-hand window, and we're getting intermittent contact on radar. E6 for me, please, Mike. Stand by, it will drop.
The air crew passes the intelligence down to the Iron Duke.
Still confirm contact for tracking northeast, please, 6 knots.
She changes course and charges towards the Triumph.
Alright, Roger. Had some helicopters operating as well, and some dangerous Warner rackets, which meant our mask could have been counter-detected about relative 90.
To avoid further detection, Dan's room for manoeuvre is now very limited.
Okay, right, there's only one way we're going to do this. Let's turn on him. All positions, duty captain. We've had a Type 23 right ahead coming towards us. We've taken the submarine deep. This contact may go over the top of us.
By going deep, Dan's playing a classic game of submarine hide-and-seek.
Tricky, but quite good fun at the moment.
It pays off. The Iron Duke passes right over the top of Triumph without detecting her. Better still, the Merlin has also lost its fix and lands on the frigate to refuel.
Also 030, number 25.
It's the perfect opportunity for Dan to safely complete his original mission, dropping reconnaissance sensors across the harbour mouth.
Fix achieved, safe pitch you 400 yards to starboard track, in position first sensor lay. In position, pull through 5 tube.
Pull through 2 tube.
G Captain, Roger.
Patience rewarded, mission accomplished. The sensors have been laid and destruction from aggressors above evaded.
The warship was being particularly aggressively handled, I mean really well handled, so it made it difficult for us to remain at periscope depth. We were lucky, managed to get our position with using the echo sounder and managed to get in quite close to land actually and drop them in the right position.
Halfway through the last day, and it's a case of so far, so good. But there are still plenty of pitfalls ahead.
Every submariner on board a submarine contributes to safety, but only the captain holds the ability to decide how much risk to take to achieve a mission. So the first thing he's got to do, and indeed what we're looking for in these students, is ability to understand how far he can go towards that boundary.
Now it's American Dan's turn to hit the hot seat as duty captain. His task is to conduct another reconnaissance sensor drop across the mouth of Lamlash Harbour.
All positions, duty captain. We'll come back up to PD and then make our approach in for the sensor drop at Lamlash North. Carry on.
Throughout the 4-week sea phase, Dan has largely remained calm, cool and collected. But as American submariners normally avoid shallow waters, Jim sees inshore operations like these as Dan's Achilles heel.
This is alien to him, completely. This amount of contacts.
Worse still, the fine weekend weather has brought out a large number of small craft to make it even more difficult for him.
One suite, multiple contacts inside, none inside 3,000 yards.
This is the busiest for PD that I've seen since we've been in Persia.
Navigating to keep a safe distance from these small craft limits where he can take the submarine, greatly increasing the risk of detection.
Okay, again, you're going to have to be careful over there. Yeah.
Watch stand 2, close quarters. Midship, steer 090.
And there's more. As Dan approaches his mission target, Chicha has lined up a nasty surprise for him.
20.
Hiding out of sight is a second Type 23 frigate, an old Perisher course foe, HMS Monmouth.
Well, at the moment we're hiding in Lamlash Bay. The chances of him knowing we're here are slim. We're waiting until 12:10, and then we're going to charge out of the harbour and give him very little time to make his decisions. With all sensors going, he's going to find himself under some pressure.
Monmouth begins her charge.
Well, what is it, Submarine? Possible warships just charging out and coming out of Lamlash Harbour. 13 right, it's opening anyway. Well, 60s, moving left on the...
Do not go close quarters.
American Dan's mounting problems don't end with the Monmouth.
Helo visual at green at 140.
A second Merlin joins the hunt.
Our playmate has just joined at its top speed there on my radar, and he's marking dip to the east to try and cut the submarine off.
2 Merlins greatly increase the chances of the submarine being detected. While one conducts a visual search, the other can dip its sonar into the water to listen out for the Triumph.
Just going into the dip, that'll explain that.
All right, hold reports, also watch, get the mast up, get the bearing for Pillar Rock Light for pool of air's reduction. If we get driven deep, I want to be able to have the reduction done.
Roger.
So with numerous small craft, 2 frigates and 2 Merlin helicopters above, the submarine sensors are working overtime.
The warship just what I believe to be Master 01 down here.
Small merch, bearing of 225, range of 1,200 yards, course 226, speed 10 knots, opening.
It's become the mission from hell for Dan.
In fact, he said, what don't you want on the final week, final day? This would have been it.
Quickly rebuild the picture. Keep working, getting this picture down.
The challenge for him is deciding which source of information to pay the most attention to at any one moment. He's bombarded by periscope reports.
Contact is the warship right astern, range of 4,000 yards.
Sonar reports.
Do you have any features you can drive over and just start getting...
And what navigation is telling him.
Got the guy at anchor over there, possibly that guy up there. That's what search got down. It was 60 stars.
For the first time during the course, Dan seems to be out of his comfort zone.
Start fighting to get something, really something.
The visiting admirals have seen all this before and recognize the symptoms. Dan is suffering from information overload, the curse of the modern submariner.
He's allowed himself to be swamped by data.
They're working in a more complex environment because of the level of data that's available. The fundamentals have not changed since World War II, but the level of information that's available to them is both helpful and, in some ways, is a hindrance.
I've watched the duty captain build up a picture which he thinks is very complicated and very close, very high density of contacts. Actually, there are very few contacts that are very close to us and pressing. You need to filter those out and concentrate the ones that are immediately constraining your mission.
The Rear Admiral's solution is a simple one. Forget all the high technology and go back to basics.
I want the scope up. I want him to have a visual picture. Get the scope up now. Door search. No new contacts in sight. Still hold the ferry heading towards Broadick. The warship with now has a 30 starboard ATB.
How different is that from
Incredibly
the picture that's
different.
in your mind?
Very different.
But sometimes it is just worth doing that yourself. You've now got a completely different view of the problem that has been presented, because you've been stuck on that for the last hour. Okay?
Next fast
Not as bad as you thought it was.
I did think it was just ridiculous.
I wanted him to look at the real world momentarily and compare it with his mental picture.
Yeah, it's 4,000 yards forward. This is the last one.
Even though the picture above is not as complex as Dan had built up in his mind using all the submarine sensors, it's still an extremely dangerous one. The Merlins are closing in.
We've just found the submarine. We're now breaking it and will subsequently attack the submarine.
On real anti-submarine missions, Merlins carry homing torpedoes. Today, to alert the Triumph to the fact she's being attacked, they're dropping a dummy weapon that will send a very unwelcome sound signal to the crew below.
6, out. Cover the eye. Drop the weapon. Still close.
Triumph has been hit.
Okay, all positions, duty captain, assess with the helos in the area, +2 blue catch.
The sensor drop mission is abandoned.
Now is to get the mast up, get this full Varus reduction done, then proceed deep.
By throwing 2 frigates and 2 Merlins at super cool American Dam, it looks like Jim has finally found his limits. But before Jim decides who will or who won't go on to command a nuclear submarine, one more student must face his ultimate challenge in the captain's chair. It's 5 p.m. and the perisher course has just hours to run. After 4 weeks of intense work, everyone on board is desperate to reach the finish line. But there's still one more inshore mission to complete, and it's totally different to anything that has come before. This time, the reconnaissance target is a moving one. A civilian ferry. The task is to get in close to it and gather intelligence. It's going to be a huge challenge, because escorting the ferry, one on each side, are 2 frigates.
My priority contact is the ferry that's just leaving Ardrossan. That's all.
So as Filthy takes the chair, he faces another classic test of risk versus gain.
This is a command go, event manager. AC, I'm also concerned that I don't know where the warships are.
Is he on sonar?
Yes, sir.
That's just as well, isn't it?
Teacher Jim and the VIPs will maintain their forensic scrutiny up to the very last moment. Filthy still has a lot to prove. He's already got some reconnaissance shots, but he's been detected.
Yeah, it's the ferry and the warship.
Monmouth's turned and started to charge.
My priority now is evasion. We've got enough intelligence here to report back to the task group. What I'm going to do is continue to make my way back up to the north, clear of these vessels, and return to periscope depth in darkness to report my intelligence. That's all.
But his decision to flee as the action hots up angers his seniors.
Chief Captain.
Yes, sir.
We did not become the best submarine service in the world by constantly evading.
We haven't constantly evaded, sir. We've achieved some intelligence here. All right, sir. Okay. I'm clearly going to want to come back up in a minute. Okay, we'll get ourselves over here and then get back up and get stuck in again.
Goaded by the criticism, Filthy changes his plans.
Stand by, spearfish attack, take track. 7-5, classified, master 1-2 as target.
Stand by, spearfish attack, take track, 7-5, classified, master 1-2.
He prepares to attack one of the frigates, but he must not hit the ferry they're escorting.
Priority contact to the 2 warships. Collateral damage is not acceptable. Stand by, spearfish attack, take track. 7-5, classified, master 1-2 as target.
Determined to keep Filthy on his toes, the top brass now issue him with new and contradictory orders.
Red 1-3.
Sink the ferry. All position, studio captain, amplifying information. My high priority target is the ferry. That's why it's being escorted by the warship.
They're setting up.
What was a reconnaissance mission has become an attack mission. A submarine commander must be able to cope with retasking at any moment.
If you sink this individual on the ferry, you'll stop the war.
Aye, sir.
Not let him get away.
Understood, sir. Set up the ferry.
Set up the ferry. All positions, stand by.
Stand by, spearfish attack, take track, 6-8, classified, ferry as target. Stand by to fire, track 6-8.
Stand by fire, track 6-8.
Fire!
Automation banded.
The virtual torpedo hits its target. And Filthy's done it. A great result under intense pressure.
Reverse the planes! Reverse the planes!
With no further ado, Jim calls for a halt to proceedings and surfaces the submarine.
That's the point teachers decided that he's had enough, one way or another. We'll find out in a minute.
The Perisher course is over. And now, finally, it's decision time for Jim.
The decision who passes and fails is a difficult one to make. There are some in this course who are fairly obvious candidates that have passed. The interesting thing, actually, is the guys that are on the borderline throughout.
Jim's put the students through 4 grueling weeks of submarine warfare.
40. I've done 80.
And if you think that's good enough, I will start taking charge.
Push them to the limits. Expose their every weakness and played with their minds.
Is that what you're doing? With all of them, there were instances where I had to raise my voice to them, particularly in the control room in front of people, when actually some of them didn't require that or need it, but I wanted to see how they react to it.
As they wait nervously for the final reckoning, do they think they've passed the Perisher?
Yes. Yes.
That's still not saying. I don't know.
Yes. Seriously, don't know.
Number 2 is definitely there, he's just being coy.
After an agonizing wait, Jim is ready to put them out of their misery.
Come on in. Congratulations, Captain. Passed SMCC.
Thank you very much, sir.
It's for you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Captain. Thank you very much. Pass parachute.
He's got shit, sir.
Well done, guys.
It's an extraordinary result. All 4 have passed.
Congratulations, Captain. Pass parachute.
Thank you, sir.
Very much. You've just joined an extremely elite club of only just over 1,000 people since 1917 have passed this course. You should be justifiably proud of what you've achieved. Enjoy it. Well done.
It's a great achievement for each of them. And for teacher Jim.
It's a hugely proud moment to be able to tell them that they've passed the submarine command course and watch that weight come off their shoulders.
Exhausted but triumphant, it's time to go home.
Yeah, over the moon at the moment. I still can't work out if it's the end of 5 months hard work or 8 years.
Well, all done, all successful, thank goodness.
It's good, well done.
After all these months, yeah, really good feeling, really good. And I didn't honestly think I would feel like this. I knew I'd feel happy, but the kind of the weight being lifted off you, brilliant. Great.
I can't wait to tell the family now. Talk about family pride and getting the name on the board. I've done that. Really, really, really chuffed.
Stressful, overwhelming, but happy. And through all it's done. Through all we got through it.
All right. Yeah.
I'm very, very, very proud.
Make a triumph, well done!
Bidding farewell to HMS Triumph, the students will shortly be allocated their own submarines. The next time they face the challenges of command, it will be for real. Jim's work is done.
Perisher is a hugely important course, and it's served us extremely well. If we did not have this course, we couldn't be sure that we were getting the right calibre of man to command our submarines.